We're gonna taste today as if we're official olive oil tasters.
This is the story of a food fight that started in the most California of ways, with a drought and a group of culinary artisans.
30 years ago, we were importing 100% of our olive oil.
It was coming from places like Spain, Italy, and Greece. California helped change that 1 liter at a time. Today you can find California olive oils in stores across the country.
We have incredible oils here that win the same amount of medals and they get the same amount of recognition as other oils from Spain, Italy, Greece, anywhere else.
What consumers get when they buy California olive oil is freshness, because it didn't have to be imported across any ocean or across a different continent.
And that's what consumers were getting right up until a few years ago, around the time drought hit.
In 2018, California experienced a crop disaster.
In response, California Olive Ranch decided to expand their global blend product.
We blended our California oil with high quality oils from farmers who do the exact type of farming across the world, from countries like Portugal and Argentina and Chile.
The decision by California Olive Ranch, the state's largest olive oil maker, and one backed by private equity investors, didn't go over well with small producers who had little to sell that year. Seeing imported oil branded as California on the shelves pushed them to get political.
We farm, and farming is an art, and we love our dirt and we love our product, and to have a hedge fund come in and all of a sudden take over is a bit frustrating.
So they pushed for stricter labeling, and so began the battle over the California brand. This olive oil is from California, and according to state law, if the label says so, that means 100% of the olives used to make it had to be grown in the state. I'm Evan Halper, a reporter with the Los Angeles Times, and I'm looking into exactly what it means when you buy a bottle of California olive oil.
The orchards that we have planted here are all from trees that originate from Tuscany.
When you brought those trees in from Italy, how old were they?
They were just teeny little saplings. They were just barely little twigs. They produce a very pungent, very bitter, very green, grassy olive oil that's very high in polyphenols and antioxidants. So many Americans were used to very mild, mellow olive oils. And so we had to do a lot of consumer education for people to get used to the pungency and pepperiness of the olive oil that we make. Now we're gonna get to the crazy part. This is where we taste, and we're gonna get a little slurpy here on camera.
We're not afraid.
We're not afraid, we're just gonna do it.
Not a professional slurper.
That's okay.
The trees aren't the only thing imported from Europe. The McEvoy family, along with other Northern California olive oil artisans, have also imported the idea that their regional brand is sacred, much like Italians with their Parmesan Reggiano, or the French with their Champagne. But in this case, the brand is California extra virgin olive oil, a product connoisseurs seek out.
I think the Europeans can argue with a straight face, if you put champagne on a bottle, they're expecting the champagne to be from that region of France. You give that to Americans, they expect it to taste like champagne, but there's not this expectation that this term, this name that's connected to a particular place means it came from that place.
California has been growing olives for more than a century, and actually the original olives arrived with the Spanish missionaries.
But it wasn't until the late 90s that the state got serious about producing olive oil. The state now produces about 5% of olive oil consumed in the United States.
California is a fantastic place for olives, mostly because of our weather conditions. We have pretty much a truly Mediterranean climate, very similar to parts of Spain, Italy, even the Middle East.
In 1998, there were 900 acres of olive trees planted for extra virgin olive oil. Today, there's 15 to 22,000.
California Olive Ranch and its affiliate farmers now harvest 7 million olive trees in the state using a method called super high density planting.
These trees are grown close together in hedgerows, almost vineyard style, if you look at it. And the idea is that you'd be able to grow olive trees together and then harvest them mechanically with modified grape harvesters.
Its lower cost bottles are on the shelves of 30,000 big box stores, supermarkets, and other retailers around the country. Their move toward a cheaper global blend angered smaller olive farmers, who pushed for stricter rules on what can and cannot be labeled California olive oil.
This really isn't a quality issue. It's just a provenance issue. There's lots of lovely oils coming from many different areas. So it's not necessarily that it's lower quality oils that I'm concerned about. It's olive oils that come from another country that are much cheaper to produce there, whether they're extra virgin or not. They are coming here and being sold under the California name. For us, it's extremely important that we protect the California brand, and that olive oil that's grown and made and sold in California is labeled as such, so we can get the value that we feel we deserve for doing business here.
A lot of the smaller boutiques aren't actually servicing customers across the United States. They're either selling online or they're selling locally. We just operate at a very different scale for them.
The first draft of the labeling law, introduced in 2021, would have prohibited the company from selling any global blend under its California Olive Ranch name. Ultimately, the law that passed was scaled back. California Olive Ranch could keep their name and their global blend, but the word California cannot be bigger on the bottle than the text used to show where else the olives came from. As fights over food labels rage, California remains at the forefront. Aguiar Curry, the lawmaker who championed the olive oil bill, is now proposing another measure aimed at rooting imposters from the California food scene.
We're moving on to another product for this next year, and we're going to do agave.
Hey there, thanks for watching this episode of The United States of California. You can learn more by reading the full story at latimes.com and follow our series on the impact of California's agenda on the rest of the country.